What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. To my right, no introduction, the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, Michael Melham. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great.
Is Mike okay?
Mike's fine. We're
great. And to Mike's right is our head yoga director here at Signature Fitness, Miss Michelle Peterson. How are you?
Hello. I'm great.
All right. Well, guys, welcome. Thank you for listening on another episode. Today is very special because this guy to my right is doing a lot of changes in the town. We're making new things. We're getting excited, and we're going to make this the #1 destination in all of New Jersey. Is that correct?
We are absolutely doing that.
That's what I love to hear. So first and foremost, I heard born and raised in Belleville, New Jersey. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I got my Belleville street cred, born and raised here. I'm 46 years old. I've spent over 40 years of my life here. I'm invested here. My mother's here. My family's here. Everybody I love and care for is here. Belleville's my place.
We're going to run that back real quick. 46, I don't believe you.
46.
Is that Botox?
Nope, it's not Botox.
A little bit of tanning?
Nope. No
No?
tanning.
Oh,
Nothing.
man. I don't know about that.
All natural.
All natural. Michelle, what do you think? I don't know, 46? I think he could pass.
Hard to believe
he could pass for like a 38, 39.
I'll take
absolutely.
it. I will take it.
We put a little Rogaine in there. You'll be all set. But you rock the gray well.
I have the gray.
He's got the silver
I've had the
streak.
gray since 22, by the way.
Oh, really?
22. It was a birthmark that came. My sister had it too when she was 22. So at 22 years old, now I have a little more gray, but that's because of the council I serve with.
That's okay. Don't give the guy troubles, all right? He's doing a good job. So born and raised in Belleville. Belleville High School, I'm guessing?
How about this? #3 school, where I believe Michelle's children go.
That's right. Yeah.
Number 3 school. My mom still lives 2 blocks away. As a child, I was allowed in the 4th or 5th grade, I think, to finally walk from my mother's house on Drama Street between Oak and Hornblower, walk up to #3 school. So I was able to walk there. So I went to #3 school, of course, Belleville Middle School and Belleville High School. Yeah.
Very cool. Any sports?
All sports, you name them. So I was always a soccer player, first ever BSA, Belleville Soccer, which is today's version of a club team. I was a member of the BSA Soccer. And then in high school, I had to make a decision. Did I want to stay with football, soccer, or baseball? And I chose baseball. So great career, baseball. Great. It was a 3-year letterman for varsity baseball, and went off to have a pretty good career even after that.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, did a little bit of homework, bachelor's in communications at William Patterson.
Bachelor's communication, William Patterson.
And pursuing a master's right now?
Slowly pursuing
Slowly pursuing night classes.
So what happened was this. Bachelor's degree in communications, William Patterson, went there really to I wasn't ready to start my life. So I didn't know what to do at high school. And just to set the record straight, I don't necessarily think a 17-year-old kid should be making those kind of life decisions.
100% agree.
In Europe, you actually take a year off and travel the world. And I don't think that 17-year-olds should be making those kind of life decisions. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to college. William Patterson had won the national championship for Division III that year. And just unfortunately, I had transferred there. Every D1 player that was a second stringer ended up there. So I didn't get much time there, which was difficult for me to do because I was a baseball player. I only went to college to play baseball. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out that well. But I did have 2 pro tryouts right out of high school.
It's okay. I understand only going to college for a specific thing. I went to UMass just to play the tuba and the marching band. I mean, come on. That's what happened. People think I'm a football player. That's not what it was. It's all about playing the tuba. So but that's fantastic.
Many years later after that is when I started to pursue the master's. So not necessarily loving school. Again, I went to college to play baseball. So it was the GREs. I was a non-matriculated student. So I got up to 15 credits and 18 credits and 21 credits. And I've kind of been holding fast at that 21 credits. So
Gotcha.
About 18 credits shy of a master's in city and regional planning.
Very interesting. And Michelle, you've been here now at Signature Fitness for how many years?
Almost 4.
Wow.
4 this year, August.
We've definitely been growing. If you haven't taken our classes here at Signature Fitness, you got to take them.
Belleville resident, might I add.
That's right.
That's right.
Belleville resident.
Yeah, I am. And my daughter's in the high school. And recently, speaking of being a baseball player, you just put in a new baseball field, didn't you?
We did.
Where?
We did.
Yeah, it's beautiful at the high school.
Oh.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of sports for young kids. It's definitely, I believe, one of the best ways to teach them discipline, team working skills, achieving your best, learning how to deal with defeat and failure. I think that's a big thing today in today's society. You know, I don't know where you guys fall on this. I would love to get your opinion as well, Michelle, on because you have children. I do not. but learning to lose is so important in life.
It is.
Because I've lost 100 times. I'm sure you guys have as well. And I feel like we're kind of falling into that. Well, it's okay. No, work harder.
Right. So
pick up yourself up by your bootstraps, that whole thing.
Yeah. If I could jump in, this is probably going to be a little political or taken the wrong way to be political.
That's okay.
But I'm a fan of losing. I think you learn a lot from losing. I'm not a fan of, when I was young, and specifically my Little League, I played Little League here in Belleville. I was PBA, and we had rivalries against the FMBA, which is our police versus our fire. So Little League was one of the most important experiences of my life. I learned the fundamentals of the game, baseball, but I learned how to lose. And I remember as an 8-year-old getting a knot in my stomach because I looked at that pitcher's mound and I saw somebody throwing really hard. And I had a knot in my stomach. And sometimes I even told my coach, I'm not feeling well, I don't think I could play. So I felt that, that's number one, but then I also felt what it was like to lose. And everybody knows what it's like to win. You hit a home run, you win the game, everybody celebrates. But to know what it feels like to lose is a valuable life lesson. So I don't have children, so I'm like you, but I have nieces. And they're 19, both tremendous athletes. But as they were coming up, everything kind of changed. There was no striking out. There was no making it out at first base. There was no winners. There was no losers. But something I noticed was that the children all kept track. They wanted to know the score. They want to know if they win or lose. So I think it's inherent among people that, that you want to do that, but there are extremely valuable lessons. And I truly do believe that we're doing a disservice to our children not teaching that or not having it go that way these days.
I mean, business every day. You make a decision and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right, Michelle?
Yeah, and it's definitely from a yogic perspective that you really just enjoy the experience, enjoy what you're doing. I have a great story that recently happened this winter, post-pandemic, right? Actually, tail end of it, still in it. My daughter was on the basketball team, and they went to play. It was one of their first games out, so no masks on the court. They had a great time. They ran, exercised, seeing each other for one of the first times. After the game, they lost, but can't remember who they played. But afterwards, they didn't care. They went out to the bus and they were out there throwing snowballs at each other. They were just having a good time, not even focusing on who won and who lost, but just that they went out there, they exercised, they had a lot of fun.
It's a great.
So I think that's changing.
It's a great life lesson. Yeah, it's a great life lesson. I mean, I have struck out to lose a game. Yeah. I've gotten a hit to win a game. But something I've always said before Little League, I was in Peanut League. I played for the Yankees here in Belleville. And I'm actually dear friends with my Little League coach. He served with me on the council 20 years ago. And I remember at the end of that season getting the most improved player award. Now, that was code back then for the worst player on the team. It was.
But you were not.
Oh, it still is. It still is.
It was code. Well, okay, it still is. So I knew. But what I did, though, I knew I was not good. And then my parents bought me a batting tee, and my father put up a net in my basement. And I spent hours in that basement with my grandmother's old rolling pin. That she used
I know
to
exactly.
roll.
The big long ones.
Exactly. It wasn't the official
impromptu
one.
baseball bat.
Right, exactly. You don't buy them in a store.
No.
You put a little tape on it, and I put a ball on a string, and I hit, and my swing ended up perfect. But I would have never gotten good if I didn't know I was bad.
Exactly.
And I've taken that life lesson. I truly think that we're unfortunately misguiding our children by just patting them on the back, telling them what a great job that they've done. I think that children should know what they have a shot at. If you're not a good baseball player, maybe something else is your path.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of winning and losing records, this is a question I have to ask. So you are now the mayor, and you've been the mayor for how many years now?
Almost 3 years.
Almost
exactly.
3 years, right? You have another year to go.
Yes.
Right? Did you win the first time around, or was this the second time, or how many times did you run for mayor?
I ran for mayor once.
And won.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I've taken quite untraditional paths. Traditionally, if you want to get involved in politics, you maybe get appointed to a board, a zoning board or planning board or something like that. Maybe you take a run for Board of Education and you lose. Maybe you take a second run, you win. You serve there for 4 years, maybe 8 years, take a shot at council, you lose, take a shot at council, you win, and then you go for the big job. My entire life, I've never taken incremental steps. I was a 25-year-old kid that decided to run for council 20 years ago and knocked out the former mayor.
Love it.
Didn't become mayor, became councilman, and then it was years later, and my exit interview when I was 29 years old, I served 4 years. My exit interview, I said, well, who knows? Maybe one day I'll actually return. And I did. And when I returned, people tried to convince me, well, why don't you just run for council at large, or why don't you just try and plug it? No, that's not me.
That's
just
fantastic.
go right for the top.
I was just telling Michelle, a very good friend of mine, his name is Michael Nicholson. He's the mayor of Gardner, Massachusetts at 25 years old.
Wow.
And we used to joke all the time. You know, he was just like me, same idea. You know, you strive for excellence.
Right.
So we were both drum majors. Those are the ones that conduct the marching band at UMass. He gets out of college. He worked underneath the mayor. And then he was coming out, so he ran, and I was so stunned. Sure. But that's a great way to live. If you don't throw that line out and you try to achieve greatness, you're kind of going to be mediocre. And nothing wrong with that, but if you're really trying to strive for something, that's the way to go.
Take big steps. That's what I say. Take big steps.
All right, next question. So your fitness routine, I know we were talking about it earlier. How many times a week you come to the gym? I heard you're on keto. What's going on with that? The people want to know.
I don't even work out.
You don't even work out.
It's all been a fraud.
What?
I see.
I don't know if I believe that will.
That's it. Cosmetic surgery over here, ladies and gentlemen. That's why he won. It's a beautiful face.
Yeah, so I actually do have a fitness routine. I've been, as we talked earlier, I've been an athlete my entire life. So I've been athletic my entire life. I've worked out. I've always dabbled. The funny part about that, and Michelle and I have had these conversations, I'm not a huge weight guy. I'm not a big gym person. You will see me here probably twice a week. 25 minutes, 30 minutes the most. The second I get here, I can't wait to leave. Not that this place isn't great, because Signature Fitness is absolutely amazing.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen.
just running out the door.
I got a bone to pick with this guy. Now that I know him, now that I'll consider us friends already, right? This guy, he couldn't be more right. He walks in, it's like there's blinders on. And he's like, I got to get to the treadmill and I got to get out of here. I need to see the, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's the mayor. I would love to see that one day.
I was never a mask person, but I actually loved the mask.
Oh, because it hid you.
I could just get in and get out. And it's still shocking how many people still recognize me. But yeah, I will come in at odd hours. I'm here. My fitness routine today, it's changed over my lifetime. But today, modern day Michael Melham, 46-year-old Michael Melham. Really, I'm down to about twice a week, a half hour. I do pump a little weight now. Just because I force myself to. I hate it. Every second I am pumping weight, moving weight, I hate. I like running because as I run, I listen to music, I think through crazy ideas. I send Jackie crazy text messages of the next idea I have. So it's been crazy, but I enjoy the cardio aspect, but I realize at my age and where I am in my fitness routine, you do need to push and move a little bit.
We need
away.
the resistance training, bone density, blood flow, all those types of things.
Absolutely.
100%. Now, Michelle,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have forced him to take your yoga class at least once, yes?
I have.
And how did he do?
More times than once.
true.
Yeah, it's been a few times. He did great.
Good.
What was
That was
amazing,
a high pitch. Great.
Great.
So I'm a little suspicious.
Great.
A little suspicious of that
No.
great.
Not
What I
really
lo-
flexible.
What I loved about it was that he was flexible enough to try more than one or two times, and he was
Love it.
very receptive to the practice.
Good.
Yeah.
What most people might not realize is
Yeah.
that I historically have done hot yoga. So
Yeah.
hot yoga, 110 degrees?
105.
Okay, so up there. So
Bikram.
I've always been into some element of fitness, whether it's just cardio, whether it's weight training. I'm a big proponent of HIIT. We can hit that in a second. But at portions of my life, I actually really liked doing the hot yoga. And I tell people, even today, Michelle would disagree with me because when you don't have time to do yoga is the time that you're supposed to be doing yoga, correct?
That is correct.
So I often tell her when she bugs me about seeing me, I say, I just don't have time, Michelle. And she says, that's the time you're supposed to come in. So anyway, I traditionally did hot yoga, and we were probably 75 minutes to 80 or 90 minutes, and that was the only time of my week that for those 75 or 90 minutes, I thought of nothing else. And I really, really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, now time just isn't on my side.
Yeah.
We'll work with your schedule.
That practice is all yours for that 75,
It
90
is.
minutes.
It
We
is.
encourage everyone to turn their phones off today, too. If you go in the studio, these days it feels nice and warm, and we're going to be adding those heated classes back this
Yes.
summer. So
We will
want the heat.
definitely be, maybe I'll join in. I don't know. We got to get these hamstrings a little looser, you know? I don't know. I think, it's a little, I'm a little disheartened. I hear you hate pumping the iron. I think we're going to get you into the new strength and conditioning little segue here at Signature Fitness. We got a 5,000 square foot facility opening up, and I'm going to get this guy doing squats. You watch. Ladies and gentlemen, you watch. I'll get a bar on your back.
So So I was always an athlete as a kid, big soccer player. So I always ran. So I always felt like my legs were fit. And if you see me in shorts, you could tell that my legs are fit. So I've never touched legs. I was always worried about knees and ankles. And I always more worried about, your chest and your abs and all that stuff. But in the end of the day, I always became just more of a cardio guy. These days, though, you will see me in here. I will hit 2 body parts. It's something that I think most people don't realize is that, one, you have to know your body type and you have to know what's going to work for you. So Definitely. I know what diet these days works for me. I know what cardio routine works for me. I can hit weights. I can run all day. Neither one of those work. I found personally what worked for me, if I'm looking to drop a few pounds or shred a little bit, was HIIT training and cardio training and interval training was something that I found that worked for me. You have to find what works for you.
So kind of like a CrossFit style type thing?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, we'll have that next door, so we'll make it happen. I'm going to get you on that fan bike. It's going to be good.
I've been on it.
I love it. I love it. So like we just said, exercise is crucial to having a good, healthy lifestyle. So one thing, as Michelle said, we're kind of coming on the end of this pandemic. We're striving to get out of here. If you had a tip just to give to all of the residents of Belleville, how can they stay healthy in these, kind of crazy times, not just coming to Signature Fitness, but even at home?
Move. Get the heart rate up. I mean, you guys both know it, but get that heart rate up, move. That's why HIIT training is so important. The more you elevate your heart rate, the better for you. There's no doubt about that. So as mayor, we never really had a mayor that was into fitness before. So I'm part of a statewide coalition. That's the Mayor's Fit Challenge. So we do that. We have all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, we walked. We have to, in order to keep our certification, which is now, I think, bronze level, in order to keep our certification, we have to implement certain programs. Some of those programs are things like pop-up yoga under the cherry blossoms, which we're very thankful for Warren and Michelle to participate in that. But we also have to do things like getting our employees to move a bit. So a few weeks ago, we actually walked from Town Hall down here to Signature Fitness. So
that's right.
I tell people all the time, keep moving. If you get your heart rate up, you're doing good. It doesn't matter necessarily how fast your heart rate is, but it's got to elevate. As long as you can keep your heart rate going, you're on the right track.
Definitely. And then, Michelle, if you wouldn't mind just touching on, just for the residents of Belleville, how important breathing is in your daily routine. Because I know we've had these conversations before. Just give them a minute of the wisdom. I know we could talk for an hour, but how important breathing is in your daily routine.
Yeah, conscious breathing, super important. So it takes a moment to just a few moments to clear your mind with conscious breathing. So if you just stop whatever you're doing, you can do it sitting down, standing up, even lying down, just lie on the floor. Put your hands on your belly, breathe in and out through your nose, and it just helps to clear the mind. And it relaxes the nervous system so you can make better moment-to-moment decisions. And then also it helps you to just get in touch with who you are and how you're feeling. For me, lastly, and I think most importantly, over this past year, I did get COVID last March, in the beginning of March. And one thing that it did do was affect my lung capacity. So it did hit my lungs. Since I was so aware through breathing exercises of where my lung capacity is, I knew when I couldn't take deep breaths, and staying calm was an important part of COVID. So just breathing every day helped me to regain that lung capacity. Luckily, it didn't scar, which was...
That's fantastic.
Most people breathe wrong. They breathe incorrectly.
They do.
True.
Yeah. That's true.
All right. Nitty gritty. Guerrilla journalism. Are you running again?
Yeah, second term.
Second term?
So I have not...
Who's funding your campaign?
I have not formally declared for re-election.
Okay.
We've been really busy in the last 3 years. I tell people all the time, we're really busy doing a lot of the little things. And I think you see that. Drive around Belleville, specifically drive up and down Washington Avenue, and you'll see all the little things that we're doing. I tell people all the time, we're doing equal parts, though. I spend a considerable portion of my day doing the little things, and I spend a considerable portion of my time planning for the bigger things. So I think that Belleville's looking great. I think that if I decide to run for re-election, I think the residents would certainly get behind me. And for sure, there's no doubt it's been an absolute honor to be in this position. I mean, as a kid born and raised here, I remember prior mayors. One thing interesting about Belleville is most people might not realize this, is that historically we never elected a mayor. So we had 7 council people that were elected, and amongst themselves, they would pick. And that's not really fair, because you're mayor for a year, and really the residents don't get a chance to look at your platform, look at your vision, and see where you're going. You just kind of alternate. And a lot of municipalities, Belleville wasn't unlike everybody else. A lot of municipalities do it that way. About maybe 10 years ago, Belleville started to directly elect a mayor. And I think that's important. I think that you really do need to know the candidates, know what their positions are, know their platforms, know their visions, to see if you want to get behind them. And I was honored to be elected mayor. It was probably one of the greatest nights of my life. I can still remember it. The video is out there. It's legendary, the video, the countdown, the votes coming in, everybody cheering. It was absolutely epic. But as I told people, it's a team effort. So politics and governing is absolutely a team sport. If I didn't get elected with my colleagues, and if I didn't have the cooperation of the colleagues that I then inherited, we wouldn't get anything accomplished. Everything we've accomplished has been collective. And I'm looking forward to what Belleville has in the future. I'm looking forward to putting my thumbprint and my fingerprint on the future of Belleville. And I could probably say without hesitation that I would be honored to be mayor for a second term. Just haven't necessarily decided if I'm going to do that yet.
Gotcha. Fantastic. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier that there's a lot of new developments. So what's some exciting news? I know we have, I believe it's Lytle coming in, right? Sure. Down the street. Some new housing complexes.
A little bit.
You know, a little this, a little that, you know?
So, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I just sat an hour, a day or so ago for an hour with the New York Times. So Belleville's going to be, this is probably breaking news, Belleville's about to be featured in the real estate section of the New York Times. And that's mostly because of everything that we've accomplished in 3 years, how we've turned Belleville upside down for the better. And you hit the nail on the head. So we have everything happening from new residential developments. We have about 1,200 new apartments coming in, and those are on the luxury side. Those are geared towards young professionals, not necessarily families. And we think Belleville is going to be a destination for young professionals, but without, the housing is just one part of that. You also have the infrastructure in place. So Michelle was mentioning before, new fields up at the high school, which is the municipal stadium complex. That's $5.5 million worth of investment going on there. Our school district is just about to cut a ribbon on school number 8, the turf field there. When I got elected, Belleville, a town of roughly 40,000, only had one turf field in the entire town. We're going to quadruple that at that stadium complex, adding in the fact number 8 school's now got a beautiful field. But then we're doing things that residents of like Hoboken and Jersey City have, right? So we're doing things like there's mural projects going on all over the place. We now have a dog park, something you'll love,
That's
a community garden. So
you have a dog park?
we have a dog park. It's not open yet.
Oh, okay.
But we have a community garden. And then Washington Avenue is scheduled for a $12 million, Washington Avenue is a state highway, so it's scheduled for a $12 million upgrade, and that's going to have things like bike lanes. So when you start hitting things like bike lanes, community gardens, dog parks, murals, these are things that people that live closer to New York City, Jersey City or Hoboken, often expect, and things that just our suburban communities in this area don't necessarily have. We are, as I always say, we're a community in transition. We are transitioning for the better. There's no doubt about that.
Great. That's fantastic. Michelle, I saw on this guy's page, and I got to ask him about it. Hashtag Better Belleville. Oh. How did that start?
Yeah.
What's it about?
You're asking Michelle or me?
I'm asking both of you. Okay. I don't know. Who has the answer?
I have the answer, but
you do have the answer? I don't know. Maybe Michelle's part of it. I mean, she's doing great things with the town as well. But I mean, I want to hear, what's this hashtag Better Belleville?
So what happened was my election, and when I got elected with my 2 council colleagues. So it was a historic election. First of all, we had the first Latina councilwoman in the history of Belleville. Belleville was at that time a 45% Hispanic population. I will venture to guess that in this most recent census, we're going to hit that 50% mark. 50% Hispanic population, yet never had representation on the city council. So now the township council looks a lot more like the general public. Our election was historic in that regard, but our election was historic because we went up against the establishment. If you know anything about politics, you know anything about the party lines and all that, albeit we are a nonpartisan community, so I don't run in a primary in June like we just had, or run in November election. Our elections are in May. So going against the establishment, going against a 16-year incumbent with the power of the incumbency and everything else going for that person or that team, it's not easy. So what I did was I recruited a bunch of young volunteers. If you know anything about politics, especially municipal politics in a May election, unfortunately, I'll give you the numbers real quick. Belleville's got 40,000 residents approximately, 20,000 registered voters, about 3,500 will participate in a local election. And that's disappointing because I tell people all the time that your local elected officials, your city council, your mayor, are far more important than the President of the United States. They
That's so true.
Far more impact on your property values, far more impact on your taxes, far more impact on your wallet, your bottom line, everything. So what I did was I went out and got a bunch of young volunteers. These are people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. So yes, I do consider 40 young. 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s.
It is young. It's young.
And we worked really hard. I mean, they campaigned their ass off. Am I allowed to say ass?
It's fine. You're good. It's okay.
Cut that a bit.
I'll put a bleep in.
They campaigned their ass off. They really did. We worked really, really hard. And they had never worked an election before. So after the election was over, it was historic. I won. Our 2 council people won. It was a historic election. They're looking at me going, okay, we just worked for 3 months, morning, noon, and night, knocking on doors, ringing doorbells, doing all that stuff. What am I going to do now? I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with you all now. So what we did was we decided to form the Better Belleville Civic Association to give those young volunteers that were eager to change Belleville. The first step in changing Belleville was electing a new mayor and 2 council people, but they still wanted something else to do. So creating the Better Belleville Civic Association, that group is now constituted. They have the ability to raise money, they have the ability to donate money, give out scholarships. They're hosting charity events now. So that's really taken on. The hashtag became quite interesting because I used that hashtag during my campaign. So when I declared that I was going to run, I declared about 6 months before the campaign. And my last line said, I'm doing this because I believe in a better Belleville. And that last line became the hashtag. Yeah, that became
Wonderful.
the hashtag for the campaign.
All right. So before we started, ladies and gentlemen, we had a little conversation. This is a new thing here at Signature Fitness. We've been doing this podcast, Michelle, for now? About a few months, right?
Yeah,
a few months now. And I want to do like a whiskey tasting or something like really get in it, nitty gritty. But I heard this guy's a tequila guy. You just did something for Cinco de Mayo, right?
Yeah, so I am definitely a tequila guy.
Okay,
and,
he likes to party. All right.
It's healthy, just so you know. So I know it's a health podcast.
Yeah,
if you are, it's definitely medicinal. And if you are on
in multiple ways,
if you're on the paleo diet, so if you're on the caveman diet, the paleo diet, it's the only alcohol that you're allowed. So I've been known as a guy who loves tequila. So
okay.
I wanted to do something interesting. Every time I address the public and I'm very active on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it seems like anytime I address the public, it's always either government-based or sometimes even political-based. There's no doubt about that. So I want to do something fun. So Cinco de Mayo was coming, and I wanted to just educate people on tequila. So it was the day before. It was the prelude to Cinco de Mayo. And it was a tequila tasting seminar with the mayor. We live streamed it from my house, so I have capabilities just like this in my bunker.
Love it.
And it was a 45-minute educational process on tequila. People, I think, took it the wrong way.
Educational.
It was definitely educational. I think people kind of didn't know what to expect. I got a lot of flack. Well, I get flack for everything, but I got a lot of flack for it ahead of time because I think people didn't know what I was going to do. And they realized once they tuned in that it was legitimate. I had my whole, I call it my library of tequila bottles there, everything from the lower end to the higher end to the ridiculous end. And I went over the different qualities. I went through the history of it, where it's made, how it's processed, the barrels it sits in. So I really had a good time, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it.
That's awesome.
People like tequila.
Great. Yeah,
That's
they
it.
do.
I'm telling Warren.
Yeah, tell us about the flyer with the mustache and the sombrero. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun for you, I guess. So it became so in my administration. There's always the next, I call it the next faux scandal, the next fake scandal on the horizon. So believe it or not, you probably don't know this, but I got a lot of heat for that from a certain subset of people, and I got called every name in the book, and I did. I got called a racist for that. I got called all kinds of stuff, and I just said, you know what? People just don't know how to laugh anymore.
No, they don't.
I mean, they don't. I got called every name in the book. I got called a racist. I got threatened that I shouldn't do what I was about to do, and that's what led me to before when I said I'm not sure what they expected when I didn't know if they thought I was going to maybe make fun of Mexicans or something like that. I don't know what they were thinking, but the first thing I said when I got online was the fact that I had a love for the Mexican people. I met my ex-girlfriend. She was in New York, but she was living in Mexico. And I've spent a considerable portion of my life in Mexico, visiting her and staying with her and learning about the culture and the people. So that flyer was something that I
and
often...
one of your favorite artists is Frida Kahlo.
Yes. And again, people don't know, but I did talk about that during the tasting. And I just think people took it the wrong way. But I will often do things that are, I think, fun and creative and all that. And if I tell people that advise me all the time, I say, well, why'd you do that? Or why'd you say that? Or why'd you do that? I said, if I really acted or change my behavior, change my actions based upon what a few are going to say or think about it, I would be handicapped,
You wouldn't be authentic.
I'd be paralyzed.
Yeah.
I would not do, if I thought, well, what is a small subset of people going to say about this? Or what are they going to say about that? I would be paralyzed. I wouldn't do anything.
No person on the face of this planet can live a healthy life thinking that way. But what if this person, you got to be your genuine self. So I now learn, ladies and gentlemen, this guy loves tequila. So I'm going to do some homework. You know, we just talked earlier. I'm going to set up a new studio for this guy. We'll be I don't even drink, but I guess I'm going to have some tequila. This is going to be great.
It'll be a tequila podcast.
It'll be a tequila podcast. We'll do a whiskey podcast. We'll do all the podcasts. But no, that's fantastic. I love seeing that. I think more people need to learn about the person behind the position. Sure. You know, a lot of times, I'm talking all the way up to the president, to every political office. You know, we don't really get to learn too much because they're on the campaign trail. Then they're doing what they have to do in office and all those types of things. But that's great. I know you like tequila. I know you play sports. Yep. We'll play some baseball. We'll have some tequila. We'll eat some good food. I got to ask, favorite food? I ask every person this question. Don't worry.
So it would have to be a cheat. There's no doubt about that.
You're on keto now, right?
Well, yeah, but it's not keto based. I having nothing to do with tequila. I actually love Mexican food. So if I have a cheat day, or if I just want to go to dinner and have a nice dinner, something that I really, really enjoy, maybe because it is paired with tequila, but I actually love Mexican. Now I'm born and raised Italian. So mom is all Italian, dad was half Italian. So born and raised Italian.
Sacrilege.
Born and raised Italian, and you're from Belleville. So if you're not Italian, when I grew up, you were Italian.
Yeah.
So I know that doesn't make a lot of my Italian friends happy, but I love the Italian food. You know, I've been fortunate. I've traveled most of my life, and I think that when you travel, you learn. I always like to learn a little bit about the culture before I land in that country, and I like to eat local. So when I travel, I don't necessarily want to go to the high-end fancy restaurants. I've been to Brazil 4 times. I've been to some of the nice restaurants there, but I like the local street vendors.
Yeah, the little shops, all that stuff.
Everything's fresh.
Give me Mexican street corn all day, and you'll never see me again. I mean, that's my favorite place right there.
Michelle, I know now from an interesting perspective. Michelle, you practice being a vegan, correct?
Yes.
The lifestyle.
Yes.
Now, being a vegan, what is your favorite quote unquote cheat food?
A noodle.
Oh, a noodle. No. That's such a good question. So in the city, there was this place where they had a bacon cheddar ranch sandwich. Wow. It was like a vegan Big Mac to me.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's so good. It's really junky.
I love it.
Delicious.
I mean, hey, we got to stay fit, but we got to eat good too, right?
You have to.
Absolutely.
My weakness is, believe it or not, interestingly, I'm on keto right now, but my weakness is carbs.
We just became best friends.
Carbs,
oh my God.
The carbs don't, and as I said before, you have to know your body and know what fitness routine you have to know your body and know what diet works for you. And as much as I love carbs, I really enjoy them. They just don't work for me.
Same.
They don't work for me.
As you can see, you know, we're getting into the summer. It's okay. I cut the carbs out. You know, that's fantastic. Well, Mike, can I call you Mike?
Sure.
Mike, I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a fantastic time. I think all of the residents of Belleville have not finally, but stepped even further into your personal life, your fitness routine, all that thing. And Michelle as well. It's always a pleasure. You know, I know the both of you, we're going to do some amazing things for the community moving forward. As I said before, I hope both of you guys are here for our grand opening of our 5,000 square foot facility, which will be released the date soon. I expect you to be there. Okay. You'll be lifting some weights, doing all the good stuff. But we really appreciate you coming on. I know that the town appreciates you, we appreciate you, and we'd love for you to come back again sometime soon.
I will definitely come back, tequila or not.
Tequila or not.
There
will be a bottle of tequila next time.
You will definitely have me back.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Signature Cast. Listen in on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.